So quick little update. Our original flight was at 8 o'clock and it got canceled. It is currently 10:30. Well, it got delayed, so our new flight is at 11:15, I think. Luckily, we had a 8-hour or 7-hour layover in Dallas, Texas, so that'll kind of cut that time. So keep you guys updated. Alright, so we just landed in Dallas. Had to go get some Chick-fil-A. So what happened was in Augusta, our flight was at 8 a.m. and because the weather here in Dallas was pretty bad, it got delayed. So we couldn't leave Augusta. It's a regional airport and we couldn't leave Augusta until like 12. And we almost missed our connection flight, but we made it here on time. And now all we have left to do is just like wait about an hour. Then we can go take our flight and we'll be in Fresno, California. Alright, so our Uber should be here in 13 minutes. Alright, so we just landed in Fresno, California. My first time in California. Your first time in California?
Mine also.
Okay, it's our first time in California. So I guess I never really explained why we're here. The reason why we're here is because Mcgaughy'S have invited both of us to come to their facility. It's like an invite-only event to check out their factory as well as some of the vehicles that they have. You guys know that I've ran 2 Mcgaughy'S lift kits on 2 of my DURAMAXs. Mark ran it on his first truck and he will be running Mcgaughy'S lift kit on his 2020. So with that being said, this was a really good opportunity just so he could take a look at some of the newer 2020s that have the Mcgaughy'S lift and kind of get an idea. Clear. Clear. What do you say? Like kind of help you vision what your truck would turn out?
Yes, what it's gonna look like.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been exactly 12 hours. We left at 8 this morning, 7 this morning, and it's technically 10 o'clock our time. So yeah, it's been more than 12 hours, 14-hour travel. We're pretty beat, but we're probably just gonna go to the hotel, maybe go to In-N-Out Burger or something like that, and if somebody wants to maybe hang out with us for a little bit, that's what we'll do. But we gotta prepare for the big day, which is tomorrow. First official day in Cali. Well, second day in Cali, but first official day in Cali. All right, we're about to enter
The Mcgaughy'S factory facility. And look at that.
Wow. Look at those. Weight room right here, so everyone stays fit. And then, dang, look at that. I don't know, look at that. Jeez. Alright, so we've officially arrived at the Mcgaughy'S facility. And Mark's already in love with the 2020 Chevy that's right here, a DURAMAX. Dude, what you think?
Oh, dude, this is sick. I think I might be changing some things around.
Oh yeah? What is, like what?
26s, bro.
Oh, they're 26s?
37 1450s. Woo! Bro, this is so sick. Oh, this truck is clean.
Let's show people how tall it is. It's a 9-inch lift with 37s.
37s.
And how tall are you? 5'10"?
Yep.
6 foot?
Right at 6 foot.
Right at 6 foot.
And the hood is right at my top of my head. This is amazing, man.
Yeah, for reference, Mark is 6 foot, and him standing next to that truck. I mean, this is a 9-inch lift and 37s. These are huge.
It's got all the face plates.
Oh yeah, face plates.
They've got the M logo engraved in the cross member this year.
And we got plenty of room in our suitcase to take the face plate, so they don't notice.
Oh wow!
The traction bars with the face plates. So out of all the rigs in the building, they got the 2020 here, classics over here, a Ram over here. But by far, my favorite one is, yeah, this is by far my favorite favorite vehicle here. Got the Mcgaughy's emblem right here. And I do have to get this on film.
What's your name?
Dylan. Dylan, so this is your family business, right?
Right.
People want to know, how do you pronounce your last name?
Mcgaughy.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's good because people Mcgaughy.
Mcgaughy.
Mcgaughy, Mcgaughy. I've got a whole bunch of different ones.
Even when people, even my buddies had 2 lifts on there.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Mcgaughy again.
Mcgaughy. I hear Mcgaughy.
Mcgaughy?
I'm like, are you serious? I said, it's not that hard to pronounce. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, because I used to say Mcgaughy and people are like, why are you saying Mcgaughy? It's Mcgaughy. I'm like, because. Changed into our Mcgaughy's t-shirt. Show them the shirt. There you go. There you go. Mcgaughy's suspension. There you go. And they got a little breakfast for us. Some donuts. California donuts, I should say. Not sure if they're any different than East Coast donuts. All right, Mark, what you think about this truck?
This truck is sweet, man. It's set up nice. 38s?
Yeah, 38s.
38s. The white and red is awesome. What you think?
Dude, this thing is nice. So this truck, we saw it last night when we arrived at our hotel, because he's staying at the same hotel that we are, and obviously with the red lights and how big of this truck is, we spotted it right away. But yeah, I will put his Instagram right here if you want to go check him out. But God, this thing is sick. Got the polished shocks. Got the red accent. I can't even tell. Honestly, can't even tell what color the control arms are. I mean, I'm thinking it's red, but it's got red light shining at it, so. Yeah, this thing is sweet. I don't know if you can see, but the CV axles are all polished up too. I mean, that's that little subtle, like little detail makes it super clean. Love the Fusion bumper and the Royalty Core grill. Oh, here's his Instagram right here. One clean LTZ. With a KG1 forged. 26 by... What are these, like 16s? Yeah, 16s. Dang. KG1 forged. That's sick. Dang, dude, look at that. That's crazy. Jeez. I mean, just look at the interior on this too. Road wire, all red. Even his baby seat is matching. And look at the headliner. I mean, honestly, his Instagram name, One Clean LTZ, I will vouch for that 100%. This thing is clean. I mean, the attention to detail on this build is insane.
And I was kind of, because if he's going to do the front.
You're gonna do all that?
Huh?
You're gonna do all that?
I think so.
Okay, black, white, black, white.
Well, I've already got their blacks. Only have to do, what, 3 of them?
Okay, that'd be cool.
So I talked to Klein just to see upping that up.
Yeah.
If the rear stays black, we'll do the diff cover white.
All right.
Get that contrast. Black and white, and then, I don't know, maybe. What you think? Thoughts?
Mark's head is just spinning right now, like so many ideas for his 2020 build. Thoughts?
All white, black and white, or just all black with the white U-bolts.
Dang. Oh, look at the drive shaft. I mean, everything is so polished up. It's We're about to do a little shop tour.
Normally we'll bring a truck in, either stock, custom, whatever we're gonna make. Bring it in, we'll take measurements, check everything we can possibly check from in here. I do all the design in here, so either I'll have my laptop or any of the parts I'm making. Right now it's kind of like my little hot rod shop. Some of my hobby stuff is like the Tri-5 and the Chevelle. We make parts for all of it, but it's not like the main part of our business anymore. The main part of our business is obviously suspension for trucks, lifting and lowering. So that's what this shop's main uses for.
How about we go back to the beginning so that gives them a little bit more depth of why? Because there's like these cars in here. He said this is hobby, but in reality, that's actually business from the beginning.
True.
So let's. When was Mcgaughy's founded?
So in 1984, my parents started the company. Both worked 2 jobs, did it as a side hobby. Started with fixing up Volkswagens in the 80s. Turned into building full custom T-bucket chassis, you know, the fiberglass belly pans with the big blown motors. That's what my dad did. From that, we went into the Tri-5, 55, 57 Chevy stuff. Actually, I'll show you on this frame over here. This chassis is my son, my 14-year-old son's car.
Mcgaughy.
So this is a 57 Chevy chassis. The first part number my dad ever developed was this power steering box. At the time, my mom had the car, couldn't drive it. It had manual steering, huge steering wheel, really tough to drive. He developed this power steering box, told somebody about it, they wanted one, sold one. Made a couple more, took it to a little swap meet, little cart table, sold a couple more. A couple more people started calling him on it. He's like, man, this could turn into something big for me. My mom was like, hey, this thing's really hard to stop, drum brakes, really hard. So he figured out, hey, I could take like a late model GM, something you get over the counter, rotor, hub, give the guy a set of bearings, make a bracket and bolt onto your original spindle, and you could have disc brakes so the car would stop better. Created another part number. From that, he noticed the motors used to move a ton in there when you put horsepower to them. So we built motor mounts, then went to tubular control arms, booster masters, traction bars, pocket kits, full line of product for the 55, 57 Chevys. When we finished everything we could do with that, we started going into the Camaros, the Chevelles, the C10 pickups. From one part number, basically, right? Everything just snowballed from there. When we got, I think it was around 98, we started doing sport truck lowering kits. A full line from 73 all the way up. In the 99 body style, we ended up developing a product that nobody had been able to do yet. We got a patent on it. So it opened our doors to a lot of dealerships for our lowering kit. We actually won an award from GM at the SEMA show for it. A lot of those dealers were always like, hey, when are you guys gonna make lift kits, man? We'd love to have your product. We're like, we really don't do that. We're not really geared up for it. About 12 years ago, we developed a full line of lift kits, taking the same thing that we used to do in the lowering side, basically brought it over to the lifting side. Easy for the installer to use. The product has to ride as good or better than it did stock. That's like always been our goal. So that's kind of where we came from, what we started at, and where we're at here today. That's why we don't sell as much of this classic stuff as we used to, but I still love it and enjoy it. So any of my free time, I like to tinker with it. Actually, my son, his first car will be this 57 Chevy he's built. I'll take you guys, we'll go through this door, we're going to the manufacturing shop. So this was there 5 years ago. My dad and I built a 57 convertible 20 years ago, and he always said he was leaving it to his first grandson, which was my son Dylan.
Mcgaughy.
So he got a 57 convertible. My dad bought this truck as a builder when my second boy was born, and said that he would build it for him. It probably sat under construction for a few years, and our business kept growing and growing and growing. And my dad was always like, hey, we need to get time, we need to build this truck so we could take it to SEMA. And I was like, yeah, we'll do it. And then our business would get busy. We wouldn't have the time. So we kept putting it off. So he passed away like 3 weeks after SEMA, I think it was like 13. And I knew then, I was like, all right, we have to get this truck done. I felt terrible that he didn't get to see it finished. It was all in primer. We had most of the sheet metal work done in the bed. A lot of the suspension parts were already designed. We just hadn't done anything with it. So we came back, and literally every weekend, me and the boys and a couple of the guys, we just started working on it. And we got it to a point where, okay, it's ready to go to paint. So we sent it to paint. It comes back, and we had like 45 days basically to build the chassis and put the truck together. We were able to get it done and take it to SEMA and debut it, and it's just sat ever since. It had a bunch of little issues, some wiring stuff we just finished up. We never even really finished the engine compartment, so we're going to build some sheet metal stuff for it. The blower coolant reservoir tank, the radiator, clean up the hydro boost. But this is my youngest son's truck. I don't know when he'll get to drive it, but it made like, I think, 617 rear wheel horsepower on pump gas. So,
and is the bolt-on kit in production?
So we build it, but it's special order only.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that full front cross member. That's pretty slick. It looks good.
A little bit of time that I do have to work on it. It's, I think, 4 years I've been working on it. And honestly, I think if I finish the exhaust and put fluids in the motor, it's completely done. It's like that close.
Quarantine cruise number 9?
That would be nice. Right here is where all the parts come in, all our flat metal. We bring it in flat and we laser cut all of our parts. Normally I have about a week's worth of inventory ahead of the press brake guys. The press brake guys are about 1 week ahead of the welders. So everything gets processed through the door. It gets laser cut. If there's any drilling or tapping that goes on gets done, we put a part number in it. It goes over to the shelf. It gets staged for the guys to form it. One of the 4 press brakes, the guys will form the parts up. Then it comes over and gets staged in lanes for welding, whether it's human or robotic welding. I'll take you guys this way. A lot of the parts you see on the floor are either waiting the next things to go into each welding cell. There's a fixture that goes with each part. These ones right here will be like a robotic fixture. So a lot of the parts we try to robotically weld them because it's way faster and more accurate. Normally we don't work on Saturdays. We're just behind a little bit right now. That's why my guys are here actually working. So we won't go into depth and bother them.
You think a 12-inch lift would fit in my suitcase?
Possibly. If we cut it in half and then you re-weld it together, we could do a DIY. What are those?
DIY or whatever.
Weldable ones.
Yeah.
We'll just give you
Like
all
a
the
meat
pieces.
bumper?
Yeah, why not?
Give you all the pieces.
Yeah.
We can even do it flat, unformed.
Yeah, and then you can bend it when you get home. We'll just show you where to bend it. Works.
All the knuckles, lift spindles, whatever you want to call them. All of ours, we have about 60 different ones that we've designed. Once we design a mold, we send it off, we'll make a pattern off of it. But before we do that, we'll pour a mold off that sample just to try it, make sure it works. We have no issues for clearance. Back in the day, about, I don't know, 25 years ago, we used to have to pay a pattern maker to make a mold out of wood, a left and a right. Sometimes they were upwards of like $80,000 to build a mold. That, and you hope that it's right? Because there's no going back. If anything, you got to grind or add wood putty to it. Nowadays with technology, we create it in a solid model. We put it on the truck. We check turning radius, wheel clearance, all that stuff. Once we have a concept and we know that, hey, there's no bump steer, steering accident's right, scrub lines are correct, so when you turn the wheel, it doesn't fight and doesn't, increase weight on the steering, we'll print it. So we have a 3D printer. Some of them will take 9 days, some take 12 days. We'll print a mold. We can even print it, test it on the truck without applying weight, make sure it's right. We'll print the mold just the way that it comes out of the sand casting, send that off, and they'll make us a sample. So it used to take 8-9 months to have a wooden pattern made. we can have a prototype sometimes in about 7 to 8 weeks. Then we're able to put it in, build tooling, put it in the machine all the necessary spots, then install it on the truck, make sure everything's gonna work, and then go right into production. If we can't make it correctly, we won't build the product just the way it is. It's gotta ride as good or better than it did stock. All these that you see here basically are right from the foundry we use off of our plates. We'll put them in the first operation, it'll go in. This one's machining the caliper, the bearing, then it goes into the second operation, does the ball joint surfaces. Sometimes it has a third op where if it has an ABS or a dust shield, they'll come out, they get assembled, cleaned up, and then they go across the wall into the other shop where we'll package them. So that's a little bit with these knuckles. We make a bunch of different styles for every application you can imagine out of these things.
And you received awards for spindles for like the lowering ones.
Yeah, so in 2001, I believe it was, that's when we won that award from GM, Most Innovative Product of the Year award. And that's what kind of opened the door to us for a lot of dealership work, where dealers were buying the product and installing it in-house at their facility. So yeah, I know we've won some awards from the Global Award, 2 or 3 from SEMA. So. Sub out anything, we try to do everything we can in-house, but with our bigger machines running cast iron all the time, you know, it's normally 6 days a week, we ended up having to buy this one just so it had to travel. They actually just landed last week. We just finished setting it up on Friday, so we got some aluminum coming in to deck it, and this thing will run pretty much non-stop on faceplates.
So that's for the faceplates?
Yeah.
Nice.
As far as like coming out with like basically like how did it what came to mind? Or
so we were doing God, I want to say in 2011 we were looking at the kit and we're like, okay, we need to be different than anybody else. So how can we be different, right? We like our product, we really thrive for it to ride amazing, hands down. Coming from somebody that works on trucks and cars, there is nothing worse than getting the coolest looking product, going to put it on the truck, and you have to drill a dozen holes in a brand new truck or anything. I mean, I know how to sharpen drill bits and it's a pain. So I can only imagine the guys that don't know, or maybe they don't have a brand new half-inch drill bit, you know, that you gotta, you know, blast holes in the frame. That's always bugged me. So I said from day one, if I can make it and make it where the parts will bolt on 100% for the installer, that's what we do. When we first kind of got started, it was hard. That really wasn't enough for people to be excited about. The installers loved it. You know, that when we'd go to shops and I would tell them about it, they were like, oh yeah, we need to use this kit. The counter guy really didn't know what that meant. So we thought, okay, we need to flash it up. We need to put jewelry underneath the truck. That's when we came up with the SS style, right? It stands for stainless steel. So we started back shadowing all the pockets in the kit that we could reasonably with stainless. And it kind of was like, oh wow, this is like a whole nother aspect, right? It's bringing some class and flash, right, to like the IFS style front end. A lot of guys were doing it with straight axles at the time, but nobody really on the IFS market. Then we were just kind of looking, and actually a shop that we sell parts to on their own took a piece of steel and just laid it over one of our traction bars and did it in a different color. And I was like, oh man, that actually looks really clean. What if we did it out of aluminum? And originally we were gonna do it out of aluminum and have a bunch of color options, but in manufacturing, you can't really do that. So that's when we decided, okay, let's do a full line of black and milled, because most of the SS kits, or all of them, are black. And then we'll do them in raw for the guys that either want to polish them or chrome them. Somebody the other day sent me a picture where they actually did the kit in chrome and then they colored those and had somebody do like old school striping on it. And I was like, wow, that looks super cool. And I think somebody sent us a picture where they took our kit and then they put another plate behind it, you know, just to add something different to it, right? Like that's what makes it, right? That's what makes it cool.
I see, you know, that you guys started with the hot rods and stuff like that, and I see my dad came from like the lowrider scene, and he notices little details like that, which you guys probably notice in the classic car. Like, we need to kind of tie this in or give some kind of little flair that other kids don't have.
Everyone was excited about doing it, and the wheels drive a lot of it, right? Everyone's putting big wheels on it. They're doing 2-stage color, or you know, accent rings and accent plates, right? And it's like, it's bringing that. People want that because it looks different, it looks flashy, but it never, it was unique. Nobody really had that underneath the truck. Like, a lot of the kits were just like muted, right? Or maybe it was just a bright color and it popped, but there was no details to it.
It helps when, like, a guy, you see how many white trucks, they all have black lift kits on them.
Yep.
And then you can go and you can spice it up, and yeah, you can powder coat the kit. But then you know, anyone can powder coat. There's only so many colors of powder coat
you run
the
out
kit.
of colors, yeah.
And then you go from there, and then you do like with this guy. You know, you step colors and you just make it all unique. So then when you see his truck, you know it's his truck. It's not like, oh yeah, my buddy's got the same color. Or he's got blue underneath his too. No, I mean, it takes some effort to really, you know.
And well, the faceplates were a selling point for me. That was one of the things that really like brought my attention to like McGaughy'S, as opposed to like other kids. And then I got mine and then found out they didn't have them for the 1500, and I was like, well, I still need it. So I made mine.
Yeah, I saw that.
And actually, for the traction bars came for the front, and actually I came from like the lowrider scene also. So I actually have another set of those faceplates being engraved right now. My boy Hernan is doing full engraving on them. We have some accent piece for the bumper too that are going to be the same way, but you said it perfectly. It's like that jewelry, you know. It's just that little accent.
You're putting money in the truck and the wheels to be different. Like, I don't want mine to look like everybody else's. Like, whether it's a level truck on a different set of wheels, or a 4-inch or a 10 or 12-inch, like making it unique, right? Inspect it, we'll assemble it here. We've been in this building about a year now, and one thing that we want to do that we're actually developing right now is a conveyor system. So we'll have workstations, and we're going to change the way we package some of the product so it's easier to put it in stations, and then conveyor systems from one department to the next through here. So that's what we're working on right now. This is kind of how we used to do it, where we would lay 50 kits at a time, pre-package the boxes. They would get weighed, we weight check them to make sure all the parts are in the boxes. If it's within half a pound, it's good to go. If it's not, we got to open it up, figure out what's missing out of it. So we package them here, and then it goes over to this department where they'll wrap them, weigh them, and then tag them so they go out their freight doors to go to their new homes.
During the week, this whole floor is jam-packed with pallets and boxes, and just assembly, you know, just different stages. And then another thing to note is, like, before this building, you said you've been here for about a year now.
Yeah.
How many buildings were there?
So we were in 13. We were in 13 buildings. We were in Fresno, the other part of town. My dad and I had built 3 buildings and used one of them, rented the other 2 out. And then as we grew, we kind of like didn't renew the lease, and we took that over. We ended up getting the buildings across the street from us, which were 2 buildings we purchased. We moved that as shipping. So we would manufacture, go to powder, and it would be delivered on the other side of the street where sales and packaging was, and shipping. Then we got the building next door to that, and we filled it with product. So we would store the product there to ship out of. Then a few years later, down the street, we've got another building. We ended up moving laser cutters into there. Then 3 or 4 buildings down from that, we got another 2 buildings, and we were storing raw product in there. We had 3 buildings in Madera that also had product. So there was just buildings all over this little area, and I had like over 30 forklifts. We were literally moving metal from here to this building for forming, then it would get moved to here. So like forklift tires and propane and just
golf carts,
bicycles, like just moving. And my wife actually, she was the one pushing really hard. She's like, hey, we need to move. We need to get up one building. And I was always like, okay, no, like there's this other one coming up. We need to get this building. We'll just expand. And she's like, we need to quit like getting all these small buildings. We need to move it under one roof. So we looked for 2 years, really hard to find something big enough to fit everything under one roof. And this building came available. And fortunately, we were able to make the deal happen. Came in, did paint and some touch up, and we had big plans. My wife wanted to fully like gut the yard and wrought iron fence, and I was like, man, that doesn't make me any money at all. Like I'm focused on manufacturing parts and whatever else. So it seems like I always have a list of stuff to do. There's always a project that needs to be done. But when we moved here, I cut it down to like, I think I have like 7 or 8 forklifts now. Our propane went in like next to nothing. Everyone has a home. At the old place, we were moving at least 20 pallets a day out of every building had to be brought outside to work because they were so full. Like the packaging shop, it literally had probably 40 pallets would have to be moved outside so that they could work to lay the parts out on the floor. And you'd really hope it didn't rain because it sucked to have to rush and scramble to cover it up or move it. So yeah, it's definitely nice being in one big building now and having a new home, so.
So we're about to go get some rollers, and Mark and I get to ride in the 2020 DURAMAX with a 7 to 9 inch lift. So we're gonna be able to get the feel of it. Hey Dad, can you unlock the back window for me? God damn it. Okay. Look at that.
Keep going back more.
That's a lot of trucks. Little truck parade. We're at this park to take some pictures, but I do have to show you guys. This is squad goals right there. Mainly all GM. How does it feel to be the only Ford out here?
I feel lost, man. Yeah, I feel lost. Where am I? Yeah, I mean, it is Fresno, so
Yeah.
I can't complain.
But I will say, you do fit in. It's a good looking truck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You'll never hear me say it again about a Ford.
Take it back. I like all diesel trucks or trucks in
Exactly.
general, so it doesn't matter. We all got the same passion, you know, so
Exactly.
that's all that matters at the end of the day. How we are rotating.
What you about to do, buddy?
About to drive.
You about to drive it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's a big truck. All right. So if you guys don't know, Mark has a 2020, and he's actually you've already ordered this 9-inch kit, 7-inch kit, and we're gonna be setting it up at 8.5.
Get to test drive it before you even put it on your truck.
I know, right?
Before even driving. How cool is that?
Not everyone gets to do that. It's not every day you get to come to the facility and drive one.
Shop truck at that.
Exactly. This truck's set exactly at 9 inches. So it went through 3 different phases, right?
Phase 1 was at 8 inches, just on the regular standard, you know, just a 7-inch kit out of the box, with the block set up in the rear, 37s on 20 by 10s, and then phase 2, we added control arms, the torsion bar keys, cranked it up to, raised it to 8 inches, put a shim pack in the back to raise the rear to match the front, and then ran a set of 37s on 22 by 12s. And then this version right now is phase 3, which is sitting at 9 inches. Again, we just put a little bit more height out of the front end, and then added traction bars in the rear, and we're sitting on some 26 by 12s.
Oh, this is 12 wide?
36 by, or excuse me, 26 by
14?
14s?
14.
Yeah, it looks
14
pretty wide.
and 37. I think they are 1450 Fury tires.
Okay, nice.
Too many different options. And
Yeah,
I forgot
exactly.
all the dimensions. There you go.
So what do you think so far?
Love it.
Love it?
Love the height. Sits up definitely higher than the 12 I had, for sure.
Because you had a 12 with the Mcgaughy's lift.
It was set at 8 on 375s.
How does this compare to your stock 2020 in terms of, I guess, drivability and everything?
Oh, hands down, this is this is smoother to me.
Really?
I like the way this rides.
Really?
This is riding way smoother.
Compared to a stock truck?
Compared to the stock truck, because they got those Rancho shocks on it.
Oh.
And those Rancho shocks are rough.
You guys flew all the way out here. Got to have some fun with us.
Yeah.
And it's nice weather. That's good.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not raining.
No, I'm glad it's not too hot.
Yeah, oh yeah. Thanks for having us out here and seeing the facility and everything.
Dude, this is so. I'm telling you, you hit every bump in that with those Rancho, but you could feel.
Really?
The,
Even with brand new shocks?
Oh yeah, them Ranchos are even Twan said that. Crap.
Really?
Yeah. Sonny switched his out right away. As soon as he got his, he put the Fox shocks on. Changed it up.
But look at that lineup in front of us. All Mcgaughy's. Oh, you're good. Clear.
A little tight.
Tight turn. The thing I want to mention is the DURAMAX that we're in right now. Who owns it?
Steve Mcgaughy.
And who is Steve Mcgaughy?
Steve Mcgaughy is the owner of Mcgaughy's Suspension.
So he let us drive his truck. Gave us the opportunity to drive his truck.
Drive his truck.
To see if, if we would like it. Obviously we do, but he just wanted us to kind of have a feel for it before we put it on, which is amazing. It's not every day you get to do that.
Drive an owner of a company's personal truck.
Exactly. I mean, one, it's not every day that you get to, come out and hang out with the owner of a company that you've been supporting for a while, but the fact that they trust you enough to let you drive one of their vehicles, I mean, it's mind-blowing. Like, not everyone gets to say that, hey, I'm driving the Mcgaughy's shop vehicle. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So sitting in the back and sitting in the front is so much different because this truck rides super smooth. Way smoother than a stock truck, which is crazy because it's a 9-inch lift at 37s.
Ruben, Mexican squat.
King kind or?
Like that guy with the red bandana.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Looked over and there's a guy in the car with the red bandana on, just like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, you remember what? He's all taking Are you taking pictures?
What? No, not yet.
It's gonna be on a timer. He's gonna come get it.
Yeah.
There's the red bandana.
That's yours.
All right, ready?
JW, you filming or are you taking? I'm filming. You're filming, so you got all this.
Yeah, I got all of it.
Nice.
Run, run.
Yeah, it's awkward.
My